I think oppression just means not having equality.
I think oppression means unfair or cruel judgment by society on a certain group of people.
I think oppression means like the withholding of rights. If you're not given the rights that were said to you in the Constitution, like even the most basic rights like the freedom of speech, are being oppressed.
Taking away a person's freedom.
Sex trafficking is not somebody else's issue. Sex trafficking is a very real problem in Rhode Island, as NBC 10 reported on February 20th of this year. Despite recent legislation to ban prostitution in the Ocean State, brothels continue to open in Providence, posing as Asian massage parlors, and many of the girls in these places are sex slaves picked up in schools, group homes, and the malls of Rhode Island. Once a pimp gets a hold of a girl, it is very difficult for her to break free. Some of them may even be her friends.
Forcing people to do sexual favors for money, and it's not because they want to, it's basically because someone is forcing them to.
It's like selling your body. But it's when other people do it to you.
Forcing young children or forcing adults to have sex with people they don't want to.
I think people who are most likely women, usually women, but I would think children may be also involved in this a lot, are held or taken against their will and sold into slavery or to perform, to be some sort of sexual slaves and fathers.
Sex trafficking is the use of selling and buying people for sexual uses, prostitution rings. There's sex trafficking from different countries. People get shipped to different countries and are used and are forced into sex slavery.
From what I know, sex trafficking is taking women, females against their will, and using them for sex trade, pretty much using them as sexual slaves.
I think that's a very serious, intense form of oppression, and it's slavery, and it's actually very popular in America, and it really disturbs me.
Yes, I do. I think it happens everywhere. Absolutely. I think things that we don't know about happen all the time. Things that we're not aware of as high school students or as anybody.
Probably does, even though I tend to think of it as a foreign problem.
I'm sure it does, for different reasons. I'm not personally aware, of that, but I'm sure it does.
Yeah, I think it happens everywhere.
Men just feel like they have this power over women and they think that they're able to do things like this and that it's their right to.
In our country, probably it's drug abuse is what it is, or trying to raise the money to, satisfy that particular addiction.
It's about control and oppressing and manipulating people in a violent and cruel way.
Some people will do whatever they can to get money.
Because they view those people not as people, as human beings, but as commodities to make money off of.
I'm gonna go with gangs and underground black markets.
The business, so people use other people, willing to take away their rights and force them into these situations they don't want to be in, into a lifestyle that's really dangerous and hurtful. It's a business. They just need to make a profit.
I think because people aren't doing enough to stop it. I think because people aren't aware. Absolutely not aware as prevalent as other things are. People don't think of it.
But sex is never gonna go away, and some people can't get it how normal people get it, so they have to resort to stuff like that.
I think that the lack of education, the lack of awareness that sex trafficking can happen anywhere, everywhere. I mean, it could be that even students here are forced into doing things that they don't want to do.
Because nobody is doing enough to put an end to it.
Because people don't have morals and they want what money talks.
Because people like power and they like being able to take advantage of other people.
Money is what drives motives, and when you desperately need that money, you will do pretty much whatever you need to do in order to satisfy that need.
People aren't aware of half the stuff that goes on in America.
I think it should be stopped by bringing it to more people's attention. But
I don't think we can.
I think you should inform people on what's happening and how to avoid it.
You start to offer help to those who are affected by it.
I think there needs to be probably some more laws and stricter kind of ideas and ideals about how to beat it.
It's just like the war on drugs. I don't think it can be stopped. It's such a massive operation. We don't have enough power to do that.
And I think you need to educate people more on it, because so many people are kind of in the dark about it.
Be aware, because we're not. And I think we look over it so much, and we everything with oppression, it's like that. We look over everything and think that it'll just go away by itself. I think we need to actually take action and do something, which we wouldn't do before.
I don't know how they could move on from that, I guess. They would need some intense therapy to get through that.
Some of them don't think anything. I think depending on what age they're taking it, they don't think anything different of it. It's just life for them.
It has effects both mentally, emotionally, physically. Hurting them both emotionally and physically in ways that they may never recover from.
Complete emotional destruction. It probably destroys everything that they know and takes away any independence or confidence that they may have because they have to do something against their will.
I think it totally destroys women and society. As anytime you oppress any group of people, you're negatively impacting society. I think that destroys a woman's sense of self, her psyche, her value and sense of self-worth in society.
The women, I think it ruins their lives. A lot of them. They're forced into these horrible acts of something really personal. They're violated in so many ways. I think it ruins their self-esteem.
It's terrible for them. I think it's awful.
It devalues them as human beings. It prevents them from living free and prosperous lives.
It ruins their lives and demoralizes them and makes them seem worthless.
And I think on society, I think it degrades the people and make people think that they are just sexual objects and not human beings.
It crushes their self-esteem and self-worth and just how they see themselves.
I don't think you can recover from that. It's basically rape. You're being held against your will, forced to have sex with all these men or women or anyone that you don't know, you've never seen them before, and you're not a person, you're an object, and I don't know how you recover from that.